Excuse me, folks. Good evening, good evening, good evening again, everyone. Welcome to the night's fifth front load and another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We are going back to that horrible world known as the JRC, but before we do, the usual disclaimers. If you are unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or with the campaign against the troubled teen industry, you'll find all the pertinent links right there in the description box. Please, in particular, go ahead and take note of the article written by NeuroClastic, a small non for profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so called, excuse me a moment, behavior modification program. The Judge Rotenberg Educational Center does not want you to read that article so much. They have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic has refused, folks. Please read that article and share it on all your social media. You're going to find the other. No, I'm not going into that. Sorry. Also included is NeuroClastic's public statement regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to our GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding in case the JRC actually sees through with their threat. Trigger warning 1. When we discuss places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center and Agape Boarding School for Boys, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. If you do got young children present, please go ahead and utilize those headphones. Number 2. This channel is marked not for kids for a reason. We use profanity on occasion and speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, very obviously parental supervision is advised. So, where we left off. The statute does not expressly define what legally marketed device means in 396 or otherwise directly address whether the term accommodates the FDA use specific reading. Again, with the use specific, you all are willfully misinterpreting what was said in that 2020 FDA decision. It becomes more and more glaringly clear to me with every single paragraph that I read from this decision that overturned the ban. You don't understand what the FDA is doing. That is very clear. Or, worst case scenario, and let's face it, I'm a nihilist, always have been. You do understand what it means. You know exactly what the FDA was trying to do. But the JRC, well, they line your coffers. So you're construing this idea that they are trying to make a use specific ban on an item when that's not what's going on here. They include what it's using for so you get an idea of what's going on with this device. They then, not for tailoring, but as the reason why this ban was enacted in the first place, provided you with evidence of the damage that the particular device in question has absolutely 100% caused. That is not user specific reading. This is not the FDA tailoring. I also like how you put legally marketed in quotations here because, again, this device has not been approved for use in the wider medical market area by anyone. There has been zero scrutiny of the current GED device in use while we're talking. Okay? It makes no sense. You keep saying tailoring. They're saying you can't use it for this particular purpose. No, they're saying that you cannot use it for any purpose. There is no room left for interpretation when you read that decision. Okay? It's not a debate. All right? But let's move on, shall we? Whether it will be approved, what kind of approval process it must undergo, and what sorts of labeling requirements it must satisfy, and whether it must meet additional restrictions before sale, can vary based on the device's intended use as well as limited use, because it's not being used on the broader market to treat anything, not just anything else, but literally anything and anyone anywhere on planet Earth except at the JRC. I don't understand how the DC Circuit Court can say that this is a legally marketed device when it is not actually being marketed. Okay? Indeed, when Congress first granted FDA the authority to regulate medical devices, the House committee report expressly recognized that there may be instances in which a particular device is intended to be used for more than one purpose, and anticipated that each use may be treated as constituting a different device for purposes of classification or other regulation. For the love of God, it is a different device. It is a different device. What it is used for in regards to this argument has nothing to do with anything, okay? They are quite clearly stating that this device cannot be used at all by anyone for any purpose, which is well under the jurisdiction, as well as absolutely following the law you keep throwing in our faces here. Okay? Simple. Oh, God. Let's read on, shall we? Accordingly, the FDA has long held the position that it can regulate devices based on intended use of products. That's all well and good. I'm glad that you agree, but at the same time, you still are completely missing the point. You keep reading into what the FDA said instead of taking what they said at face value for what it is. They used quite clear and concise language in that FDA 2020 decision to ban the device. It is others reading in their interpretation of what they think the FDA said that's the problem here. Okay? It's not being banned for a particular use, it's being banned for every use. And to compare that to other devices in the market where they are, because on a design level, right there at the brass tacks, the bones, if you will, the devices are not the same. So, where this argument is that the FDA is trying to cater and say it's only banned for one particular use makes no sense. Okay? They're not just banning it for treating folks with behavioral issues. They're banning the GED device from being used by anyone from any purpose, and the language that they use in that 2020 decision makes that crystal clear. Okay? We're going to close out on that, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do get do tend to get removed from time to time. Please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe. Don't forget to use those comments. I do appreciate your time, As always, we here at Spilling Tea do hope you have a good one. I will see you in a few minutes.